What up? What up? What up? Bankroll 10 bedded up. We got the Malibu back. We got this one back. 79 Malibu, 24-inch Ruchis. The lip measure is 5.5 inches. But this is the one I built the 12 bolt for a while back, a couple years ago, whatever. Then recently had it here to adjust everything on it. It does not have an anti-roll, so what do you think it's here for now? The coilovers are still bolted into the stock location on the top where you would bolt in a stock shock or you would bolt in a bolt-in setup coilover, but the bottom obviously it's got the brackets on there. But when I get the car up in the air, I'll show you guys that. This is the one that has the BMR upper control arms on it, and this car was cambered real bad, negative camber, so the wheels were leaned in real bad, bow-legged, however you guys call it. And it's got two left upper control arms on it, which I'm the one that found that out. But we put a set of the All-Star 1-inch longer ball joints in it, and this is the one that sits messed up. The car doesn't get driven much. Still waiting on that other upper arm, so he can switch that out, which I'll be the one to switch that out, or he'll switch it out and then I'll have to realign the car. But we got it in here. We got the cross brace. We got the billet anti-roll setup. We have the billet trick chassis anti-roll. So this bar obviously goes up on the top. So I'll be cutting out where the upper shock area is. I'll cut that area out, be able to put the bar across there, welded in square. So my lift has been low. The cables are probably stretched now that I've used it more. So the left side has been a little lower, and I noticed the left front leg has got a little bend to it in the air. I got the stilts on there, the 4-inch stilts. And obviously the pad on top is adjustable. So I got this one twisted up a little bit, got the back one twisted up a little bit. So I'm gonna put the car up in the air. I got the car a little crooked, but whatever. Put the car up in the air. When I set it on the locks is when it needs to be level. And then obviously I have the levels, and I'll go across the frame rails and stuff like that. Get the car as level as possible. Side to side, front to back, don't really matter. But we gonna get this ass in to go down low. Somebody else frame notch the car, boom. I'm going to put a ladder bar cross member, torque box brace. It's gonna go across there. So I think it's like 46 inches, 47 inches long. I'll do a bend at 12 inches off of each side. And it'll be a 2 3/4 bend on my little bender over there. But I'll explain that when I do it, and tie into the lower torque boxes. So quick little, put the cross brace in, hook the shocks to there, which there's no shock tabs in the setup for the coilovers to go to there. So of course I keep extra stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I have this Viking box right here. So these are the little longer ones. And then I have a set. Oh, there's that right here of the shorter ones. So depending on where I put the bar, I got the different shock tabs. So that'd be a little bit of a charge for that. But yeah, that's what we fixing to do. That's what I'm fixing to do, you know what I'm saying? I'll go around it real fast and measure it. I know last time I measured it, I'm pretty sure it was like 29 inches from the ground up to quarter. But you can see this car is leaning. Either it looks like it's leaning a little bit, or the bumper might be off a little bit, or whatever. I don't know. I know I had a quarter put on the side. what we were talking about before. You can see that bump out. See, it's gonna bump out. So, whatever. I'll go through and measure it up real fast, and then I'll get it on there. I'll probably slide the front end over a little bit with the jack. But it don't matter. All right, y'all. 79 Malibu, 24-inch Ruchis. Again, somebody frame notched it. There's an older video on it, but somebody frame notched it. It's pretty horrible in the back, and that's why it needs the torque box brace. It does have a LS in it, fuel injected. But 24 by 10, 11 overall. And I'm gonna measure it, and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna get as low as I can get it. The car ride's good. But yeah, that's where we're at. All right, y'all. Let it up. I'll be right back with the business. All right, we back. I'm back. It's back. Whatever. So got it up on the lift, and I got it pretty level. Bumper across is reading level. The frame across is reading level. The back two legs are reading level on the lift. The front two legs do not read level, obviously. As you can see, that one bends downwards. So either it was bent in shipping, or when I had that my Trailblazer on here, because the legs had to be so far out, or that C10, the gray C10, the frame rail's real narrow in those, and that had to be real far out. So it could have bent it, or it was just bent from the factory. Who knows? You know, they move this shit around, shipping and shit like that. But anyways, all right, back to the Malibu. Went across the front bumper's level. Went across the back bumper's level. It's level enough to where everything that I do, and I also do off of measurements. So anyways, let's see. We can do this one. So that's what I mean. That is in. Is that a bracket? Yeah, it's a bolt-in bracket for the top. So even if I had, shock tab, I could weld this piece to the bar once the bar goes across here. So I have three options. I have these tabs with that piece. I have the long tabs, I have the short tabs, boom. But of course, you get in here, you cut the bracket out, and then you put the cross brace up in there. Fuel lines are just off of this exhaust hanger over here, but that don't matter. Those, it's not in the way. And then the bar being back here more, so the coilovers can lean back a little bit. So depending on where I want it, but the bar will be fine back here, and then the anti-roll will come off. It can come off the bottom of the cross brace, the cross member, and then the links will go forward, come down, and be on the front of the housing. If I was to put the bar real far back, these are 12s. This is a 220. What is a 12-inch? You got the Viking shock, which is a 209, which is a 12-inch, and then this spring is a 12-inch. But the spring is QA1, because remember, he had the 3A1s on here and they started leaking. So then we put the double adjustable Vikings on here. This, back then, this is 1 5/8 tube right here. And I had bent it, and I wanted it to be on the bottom, but I should have put it a little bit farther forward, and then it'd have been on the bottom of the housing, and then it would have been up higher here. So obviously, you can tell this is my older, probably one of my first braces like this a few years back. I think I did do this rear end first before the other rear end, but he's got 12 bolts on both his Malibus, and I did them both. So we got the drop box. This one has, this is the 9-hole thin strip for the aluminum brackets. Then the other rear end has the long 11-hole thicker strips on there, which those are flush with the bottom. These, I was afraid with it being bolt in, that when he first was able, he put the rear end in his car. He brought me the rear end, I had the rear end. He took the rear end, he put it in his car. that it wasn't gonna have enough. So that's why I lifted this up, because I was afraid he was gonna be up here and you know this, but it ended up being exactly where he wanted it. So now, with how I put the bar in, I know I'm here, but this can actually be down more. So the whole shock setup can come down more. So I could probably just notch this where I want the bar to go, but I just cut it out. Ain't no sense in half stepping it. But right here, boom. So yeah, you see how I think, oh yeah, I think I even put these on a little bit of an angle. No, I didn't. Now this one looks like it is a little bit of an angle. Unless I did put them on an angle. Because this one looks like it might be too. Anyways, I was trying to make up the difference because I knew the angle and I didn't want shit binding up. So, yeah, see, there's still plenty of clearance there. So these will be straightened up. They'll come out more. They'll be straightened up. Spiracles. Double adjustable, upper and lower. Boom. But yeah, then torque box brace. So, you know, to my bar across here, be 12 inches, have a bend in it at 2 3/4, so that way it'd go from here and not go a half under. I'd be able to go underneath the mufflers into this side, and then I tie off the back of there to the torque box because of the frame notch that is done on this car. You know, maybe this one is cleaner than the other car. That's not too bad. I could just be remembering things wrong. Yeah, that's a tight ass fit though. But it's all good. We got room for it to tuck. And the lip has been, they slid it, and rolled it up in there. That's cool. I'll get it to sit down. The only rub mark we see is right here. Well, there's some rub in there, but I can flex that some. And I can bring the rear end forward. I can bring the rear end forward some. Depending on that. Hopefully this body's got that room too. Yeah, it's got plenty. I can come, let's say, ½ inch farther forward, leave a ½ inch gap there. And then that'll get it off of. Which most of this too, because it doesn't have an anti-roll, and going up an incline, it leans. So without the anti-roll, you know, it's body rolling. So now the anti-roll is gonna help out a lot, but I'll be able to flex that a little more. All right, y'all, I'm gonna keep yapping, but I'm gonna get to it. I'm going to get to it. All right, let me probably take the back wheels off, get them out my way. So I can get up in there. I'll take the shocks out, put my stands, my screw jacks, put them underneath the rear end, get the shocks out, get the upper spring pocket area cut out like I want. And then I can cut the cross brace, fit it up in there. All right, y'all, I'll get that fitted, show some more, bent that up. I'll be right back. All right, got the back wheels off. Got the shocks, got the coilovers out of it. Like I was saying, with this bracket on the top. I see a lot of people do it, but I could just butt this up against the tube. You know, depending on where I put the tube, the cross brace, the cross nugget. You know, I can do it however I want, really. So, put this against the tube. Well, that's pretty bad, but, and weld it on there. But we'll see where I can get the tube. I mean, I got all the other tabs and all that shit anyway, so I can do it whichever way I want. But yeah, I'll get up in here and get this light. So, cut the pocket out, you know. I'll put the light right here. Okay. Yeah, you know, do like I do. Cut to there, and then cut that. clean it up a little bit, and then be able to put the tube across. And there. It's like 41 3/4, 42 and something from inside of frame rail, inside of frame rail. So same thing with this. Cut it across there, cut it across there, clean it up, take that out. Oh, my door's opening. Oh, my kid. But anyways, I'm underneath here smelling gas, looking for a gas leak. Got a new tank in it, but I just put the bolt in the hole right here because this is the breather. And it had a little drip of gas on it, so I tucked that away. So that way when I get to cutting and grinding, I don't go boom. Yeah, so this is that frame that's what I was talking about. Which again, when the car sits where it sits and the wheel is farther back and there's no anti-roll, things are gonna move around a lot more. But this top corner, most likely, when you enter a corner or enter a driveway on an angle, an incline, a gas station, stuff like that, the rear end tilts. But I'm going to move the rear end forward. And I'll be able to tap, roll this in some more. On this side over here, man, that's a nasty gouge. And you figure the wheel, I gotta see right there. Bam, 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 bam. I'll roll that in real good. You figure the wheel would be really tore up, but look at that. It's not really, it's not really tore up. And then the wheel is directional, so that one, yeah, see, that one's got a light rub on the other wheel. So originally narrowing it, this and that, I didn't have the wheel, did the rear end, whatever, but 3/4 spacer, 3-inch, 1/2-inch does 3/4 spacer. He actually, he put the rear end in himself, all that stuff, bolted it in, hooked up his brakes, all that, and it ended up being right there. So I was at 3/4 of an inch off each side, but you'd rather be too narrow than not narrow enough. But yeah, that, I'll probably clean this up with the grinder, smooth it out some. And then it's got a little mark right here, but it looks like they never really did any work here, so it's pretty solid. But I'll tap, 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 tap. Need a nice hammer. That one, it's got a big ass head on it. That one's all right. There's another one around here somewhere. This little one, sometimes you end up getting your fingers down here. You're trying to get close to it. There's another one here somewhere. It's a nice hammer, wood handle. It's got a big head on it. Be able to roll that in. But all right, yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna get that cut out and get the tube fitted up in there, and then figure out my position front to back of where I want it. I mean, obviously the rear end is already here, so if I'm above and I put the tabs off the back a little bit and the shot comes down on a little bit of an angle, from back of car to the rear end, that's fine. And then the anti-roll. So I guess my biggest thing would be I want the placement of the anti-roll. I don't want to split this. I don't want to be too far back here, or the anti-roll will be too far forward, and the link comes down and goes on an angle backwards, cause a bind right here. And then obviously the other way, I don't want to be not far enough forward to where I can't get to the front of the housing. So I'll either come off the bottom of the cross member with the anti-roll and go to the back of the housing, or I'll go to the front of the housing. So I just got to figure out that position, which I have plenty of room here, and the car doesn't tuck that hard. So, you don't want the anti-roll in the rear end coming into play, bam, bam, bam. But Gbodys have tons of room back here for that. So even if I end up putting the brace farther back, then I can always take the shock and mount it to the front of the tube, have the tabs come off forward, and then have the anti-roll far enough back to where to come off the bottom, and then I know the arm will go and come right down to the back of the tube. So yeah. Yes, sir. All right, I'm gonna get that cut out and get the tube fitted. Be back. All right, back on. We got shock pocket cut out, both sides. Now I am cleaning this up. They don't have to be perfect. As you can see, just by me roughing it, I didn't even put no lines on there or nothing. I'm basically, there's a little bit cut back on that, a little short, but whatever. That's all good. That's out the way. Cleaning this up. Grinder, used a 40 grit grinding disc. Amazon, get the pack of 50 for damn near like $1 a piece. Sometimes you get it cheaper than that. But DeWalt grinders, that's all I use with the trip. You know, the triggers. You got the paddle with the lock. Those grinders with the click button on it, and then they get caught and you yank out of your hands, and then they're still on because you got to unclick it. Plus you got the safety. DeWalt, that's all I use for the grinder job. You know, watch my videos, you know. So yeah, we're gonna started cleaning it up already, so I'm gonna clean all this up. Probably gonna leave this up here, somewhat of a guide, but most of the time I take it off depending on where I put the bar. But I think this one I want the bar to be a little back farther, like I was saying with how the anti-roll. So I'll get the bar, I'll get all this cleaned up, I'll get the bar up in place. I'll cut it a little long so I can hit it with the hammer to tap it into place, square it up a little bit, set the anti-roll up, and see where it drops on the tube. If it's going to be on the back of the tube or on the front of the tube, I'll explain that. But yeah, so I'm on it. It's like 50-something degrees outside. I had the door open for a little bit, but a little chilly, But I'm on it. All right, y'all. That's the next step. Oh, I went over here and did a little bit of grinding on that groove that was in there just to clean it up some. So you can tell they bumped out. See how thick they are right here? That's why they're round. So if I have to, yeah, see this side right there. So if I have to, I'll make a slit, pie cut, you know, slit it, be able to tap this in some and re-weld it just so it clears better right there. Again, not my frame notch. And then this right here, like I said, with my hammer, I'll roll this. Just take the time and flex it. You don't just beat the shit out of one area. You just roll it, heats another up, and then it starts to flow. It's gonna crack apart, stuff like that. Make sure you do like that. See? A little bit of here. As long as you work it a little bit, it'll move. Alright, butt that up. Get back to it. Yeah, this side, this is how nasty that thing. And then this side, and oh here, this one is too. And then it's like just roll the top of it. I don't know who did it. It's like up here, you know, pretty clean. These plates, again, when you buy the UMI plates, Altar plates, whatever, cut it out, make the plate fit inside there, so that way you have the metal showing of the frame, and then you have this metal showing, so if you have a nice groove, or if you make it a little bit bigger, you can fill it, and then you can clean it up. This, they overlap it and weld it, and then you get spots that really ain't connected. But anyways, all right, y'all, sending out a Malibu 24 Fuji's in the works. Cross member, anti-roll, and then I'm gonna do a ladder bar cross member, which, like I said, it's gonna be from here and go underneath the mufflers, go to that side, and then tie into the lower torque boxes. Wait, come on, back that up. You back. All right, y'all, back at it. All right, this is what I did. Move the rear end up an inch. So I measured from here to the car, made sure it was all square. So we had this hole and this hole with the aluminum brackets, but because of the placement of the bar, I didn't want that coilover to be too far back. So now we're down to this hole and this hole with how I'm gonna set the shock up. So it's got 1 inch more of tuck right now compared to what it was. So 24-inch wheel is 30 inches overall. This car was at 29, so it had just a little bit, very little bit of tuck. So now 1 more inch, 28, so it's gonna be, you know, up in there. Then we have adjustments to go another inch with these 2 holes. Set the anti-roll up on there. So right here, that real shit, you see that? Trick chassis. Oh yeah. So I want the anti-roll to come more off the bottom and then the links go forward. But I'm not totally towards the front. And I'm moving the rear end an inch farther forward. So I have not welded and tube in yet. And you can see I had it here first. And then, you know, with your line on there, boom, to get how you're square front to back. Then, of course, your level to make sure the bar is level, side to side. And then how you put the line on there with the level. Put the bar on the ground, make it tight, draw the line. You can do it on the bench, you can do it on whatever. Boom. I know the car is level because I already leveled the car side to side. Front to back doesn't really matter. But the front of the car is level side to side. The back of the car is level side to side. This arm, same thing. When the adjusters were put in, they weren't all the way zeroed out and then put in the car and then adjusted to length. And then, of course, then you would do your final. So I'm gonna take all that out of it. So I'm gonna unjam this, take the black part off, screw it all the way in to where it stops. Both uppers would be like that. That'd give me my 1/2 inch that I want. And then of course the lowers, I already squared this car up before, so whatever the lower measures, let's take a 1/2 inch shorter. So unjam them, boom, 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 bam. Like I said, that'll move. You know, this is a Malibu, obviously, that was cut open and done with body work or whatever. But I want that to be farther forward so I can get off that tub and a little lower. So, and I'm still gonna roll that in, obviously. And as for the coilers, I know you guys really didn't think I was serious about welding this up there. I've seen so many people do that. They weld this up there and just trash. Looks like shit. Short tabs. These tabs right here, you can buy on the shelf and on the circle. You can get them from All Star Performance. You can get them from definitely Trick Chassis. He has the short tabs, boom. Vikings have the longer tabs. So I like to explain all this. Blah, blah, blah. So this kit right here with Viking, 7971-101, gives you all your coilover brackets. But see how you got the longer tab? So depending on where the bar was put and how you angled this, if the bar is a little bit farther forward, you want the shock to be straight up and down or a little bit more towards the back. Use the longer tabs. This curve goes towards the bottom, so that way you can weld it. And you do the best you can to weld the outside first, tack it, whatever, pull the shock out of the way, weld the outside of it first, weld the other side, then try to get as much as you can of the inside. And it helps to go through and bevel this with a grinder, and it welds a lot nicer. So, oh yeah, and I fixed the ground on my welder. So I know people have seen this in the videos about how nasty it is. But look at that, y'all. I went and put that eye loop in there and tightened it down with a bolt. I still like to weld it to the frame, but it's pretty nasty. Anyways, the ground works freaking excellent now, man. Hell yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move the bar. You can see the line before, so I moved it 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna go ahead and move it a little bit farther forward, which also will allow me to go up a little bit. So I'll go probably another 3/4 of an inch, and then I can go up a little bit more. So then it'll help me with possibly getting up from this hole to this hole for the bass tune. And then if I want to go lower, I can go lower. And of course, if I want to go higher, I can go higher. But you have to set the rear end in place, square it all up, get it where you want it. You know, you can measure the wheel overall, which, like I said, 24 is 30. So if you go from this point to the car, 15 inches, 15 and a half, gives you a 1/2 inch clearance there. Everybody that puts the wheel too far back, like Monte Carlos and shit like that, put the wheel where it's like a 1/2 inch. Monte Carlos have that wheel well that slopes back. So you put the wheel on there, and if you got an inch of gap there, it makes the wheel look like it's too far back. So just 1/2 inch, all you need right there. With, you know, real suspension, anti-roll, coilover, shit like that. But yeah, let me get that bar moved a little more. Change those control arm lengths. Bam. This car on the ground, the pinion was like +1. And then, you know, that's all I can get right there is what that is. And right now they measure 9 5/8 or 10 5/8. I think it's 10 5/8. And what they measure from center bolt to center bolt. So, top ones first, then the bottom ones. Get this all set up. Once again, not my frame, not y'all. Hotel. I'll be right back with some more business. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast. I'm out here, got the radio on through my phone, and I'm jamming. All right, y'all, be right back. All right, what's up, back on it. So this is what I did, Okay, so I went and I moved. That looks crusty, but anyways, I moved it damn near all the way forward from the original, so I think it's like 1 3/4 inches. That's where I moved it. I didn't hit this with a wire brush, but anyways, shock tabs are on there, fully welded, both sides. Bam. Looks worse than what it is. I think I got a piece of metal on tip of my finger too. But I got anti-roll tacked on there, like I was saying with the lines. And I got the center mark, which I fucked up first time. But center on the cross member, center on the anti-roll. And then when I held it up there, you can see my line. And then of course with the measuring and all that, boom. Just got the tabs tacked on the front. At first I didn't have the ground on the housing side. Then I put the ground on the housing side. But anyways, I make this a big weld through here because that's a lot of pressure, and how close this is together. It's hard to get in the inside, so I get around the top, around the bottom, inside of the bottom, inside of the top. But I put a nice big weld on there so it's stronger. But yeah, now this is angled down just a little bit, and this is at ride height, so then this squishes the 2.5 inches, boom. The anti-roll sits up a little bit. Obviously it's never gonna go, I'll put the bulb the other way, but it'd never go that high, or it'd definitely never go that high. And then with clearing the pumpkin, you can see how far back I am here. So from here to here is about 5 inches. So the car's gonna go down about whatever. So it's gonna have, you want like 1.5 inches of travel. I still haven't moved the lowers forward yet, but I'm gonna see what the pinion looks like. I did get that 1/2 inch out of the top. So as you can see, the gap before was on this side. Now there's no gap. I just gotta jam that. Same thing on this side. Gap is gone. So I gotta jam that. When I took these out, they were rusty. So I wiped them off, and then I put anti-seize in the hole of the spherical joint and put the bolt back in there. So
It didn't have no squeaking, but it definitely won't have no squeaking. They had the zip ties on for the brake lines. I had to take those out the way in order to get the tabs for the links on there. So you can see it's got plenty of travel. It's not like it's down more and arched more. Sometimes you gotta watch that stuff. But when the car hangs in the air like this, the shock would be, the coilover would be on here, and it would obviously stop at this level. It would be stretched all the way out. So yeah, it's like 74 degrees out, probably a little warmer in here. But like I said, this sucks. All the wind and everything, it brings in all the leaves. Look at all the leaves. And then the concrete sweats a little bit. It wasn't like this until I opened the door. You can see it get damp, but of course this is an oil mess. The hydraulic fluid out of the Grand Prix bumper shocks and the gear lube and shit like that. But yeah, Malibu, getting closer. So now I'll drop. These are, let's see, that really doesn't matter right now because obviously that's one bolt hole, right? This twist, whatever. But the bottoms, those are lug nuts that came out of the car because they're half inch 20. It's easier to do that than dealing with a nylon nut on, off. These are my little fine thread 3/8 for turning just to hold the bolts. Then I'll take these off, and then when it's done, I'll put the nylon ones on there, lock ones. You guys got to remember to grease these. Everybody, I see so many cars come in and not grease them like this one. Never grease. Me, my 250-pound ass, couldn't even get it. Move a little bit of that because it was never greased. 3/8 BS right there. Alrighty. My fat ass is in here working, trying to get this done. I'll get that all welded in and hit you back. Alright. I'm back. Coilovers are up in there. Now remember, I already have it an inch lower with, you know, I screwed the rear end up when I took the shocks and everything off. So it's already an inch lower than what it was when it came in. So from ground up, it was reading 29 inches. So now from ground up, it would be reading 28 inches right off the rip. But the squish, you know, the springs are gonna collapse when it goes down for weight on there. And we're gonna see how low it is then, and it should sit good. And then we got the anti-roll, so it'll most likely help with this angle rubbing. But I tapped that in some more. Tapped in the front a little bit. Cleaned up that little paint over there. I got a very busy street to the country. Anti-roll looks good. Well, they're not jammed up against there. And like I said, this is full travel down. So when a car travels, you know, you only need that little 3 inches. So half, you know, inch and a half down, inch and a half up, blah, 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 blah. So now I am going to, so if we want to go lower, we got a little bit here to go lower. The spring is set at 11 inches, which is a 12-inch spring, so it's at 11 in between here. So this could be taken down that other inch. Oh, duh, I still got these loose. I'm not sure if I had moved the O-rings before, but they do look like they were in the same spot. So these are only 220s. So being a 220, they're gonna squish probably 3 inches. So it should sit way lower. So if I gotta go up, I can, you know, go up. If I want a little more spring pressure, I can go up. Because if that was where it traveled before at, you know, its lowest. There's plenty of adjustment, that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, now I'm gonna take the car up and put this ladder bar brace up in there. Like I said, I got the tube on the floor, about the level, about to draw my line on that. And I'll go in from the side, I'll mark 12 inches, in from the side, 12 inches, after I figure out my overall width. And then I'll make those bends at the 12-inch mark on both sides. And the line helps with the bender back there. So when I set it in the bender, it's got little notches inside of it that I can keep it lined up. So when I lay the bar on the floor with bends in it, it's not teeter-totter. It'll go straight across the floor, not teeter-totter. And that helps when you weld it into the car. That, you know, you wouldn't have this side with the bend in it twisted like this, you know, going back more, and then this side being twisted the other way and being forward more, and then it'd be in a fucked up area, fucked up location, meaning it would be twisted, you know. So, like, we'll probably put it right here, because if this car was to get sidebars, the sidebar goes behind here, so I'll probably put it right here, right in this area, like I always do, and I overlap the bottom a little bit. And it's all, that one's only 1.5 inches, 2, not 1 5/8 inches, so that's perfect. And then I'll be able to tie right into the back of the bucket. Torque box, blah, blah. So yeah, I'll be able to clear these. So like I said, from here to about, you know, 12 inches, you have a 2 3/4 bend in it, so it'll come down and then across and back up. But yeah, let me get on to that. Let me get the line drawn on that. Now I'll get that fitted up in there. Yeah, I gotta put some zip ties back on this brake lines. How he had it. Yeah, moving right along, you know, moving right along. It's nice weather. And then yes, everybody that keeps asking. This thing will be getting some time into it. We'll be getting some time into it. Just gotta pay these bills. All right, I'll be back. I'll be back. All right, y'all. I was jamming, and I didn't do a. Oh, that sounds right, huh? I was jamming, and yeah, I got some shit done. So as you can see, the bracing, torque box, bracing. Now, in the future, the side rails could be put in, which all that needs to be straightened out, right? You put the side rails in, both sides. And this one's all bent up too. But you do, again, 1.5 inch bar in there, boom, weld it all up. Then, you can go through here. I didn't even run a wire brush or nothing across it. I ain't got nothing to hide. I had a hole, I went back over it. It's a little thick. Yeah, sun on this. There's a motherfucker to get to the top. Around there. They're not perfect, but the lines, when you draw the lines on there, it makes everything a lot easier to fit and where to grind and all that. Yeah. I don't know why it's focusing so bad, or trying to focus. Normally don't do all this. All right, so anyways, damn, that sun's coming right to the back. That part is done. So what I have to do now is obviously wait for that to cool down, put a little paint on it. I only got a little bit of paint left. Should have enough to cover it. I'm gonna go ahead and put the back wheels on it and set it down and see how she sits, and I'll show you guys right when I set it down the first time, meaning I won't change location until after we'll see where it sits. So originally this was up on these two, 1, 2, but that was bolted to the stock shock area up there. But I got rid of that piece. So it might be somewhat the same, but it was in a lot more. But then I moved the rear end up 1 inch. So if I went 1 inch, that's probably about 1 1/4 inches, you know? So I was looking to get the car to go down another inch easily. So I was at 29 1/4 from ground up to quarter. So, and it was on this ground. So I'll sweep this up, put the wheels on, set it down, and show you guys
how the back sits. So yeah, let's jump to that step. And I've been tripping over my grinders and shit, right? Because I put them in my way. But this one pissed me off, so I kicked them. That one ended up all the way over there. And that one ended up right there with the blade broke. You know. Fuck it. Alright, let me get these wheels on. I'll show you guys how it sits. Bet that up, right back. Alright, y'all. First time I set it down, I was just bending down, up, down, up, down, up, down, taking pictures. So yeah, I'm breathing a little hard, but better because I've been getting my workout on, so I've been feeling better. But yeah, so right now, that's all the way down, and I pushed it down, you know, made it settle. So it's exactly 1 inch lower. So exactly what I determined it would do with everything that I did. I'm gonna take a little bit of spring pressure out of it because it's at 11 inches. Kids are outside being really loud. But hold on one second, let me check this one. That might help that noise. All right, so I'll take the spring, because there is a lot more shock stroke than what I was thinking there was because of how the O-ring was sitting. So there's plenty of shock stroke. So I'll take the other, about a ½ inch, I'll take a ½ inch out of it. So that way the spring would be set in between the two collars. Adjustment and top collar will now be 11.5 inches where it's 11 inches now. So that ½ inch should give us another ½ inch to possibly 3/4 of an inch down. Or might leave it like that because I can't lower the lower control, I can't shorten the lower control arms more due to the pinion angle. So why this car is like that, maybe because of the distance of the 12 bolt ears, where the ears are located. So now these upper control arms are at the shortest. So for us to go shorter, you know, to move the rear end forward, we would go shorter with the uppers. So we would change the uppers from a G body upper control arm to an A body upper control arm. And the A body upper control arm is the shortest. 68 to 72 is the shortest double adjustable upper control arm, shortest upper control arm. Kind of like a Mustang 5.0, they're real short upper. They might even be the same arm depending on the company. But yeah, so there's no point in me moving the rear end forward any more than what I did with the upper because we still have a little bit of opinion positive. So it's all good. Dude just wanted it a little bit lower anyways. And that's where it's at. So now I'll take it back up and I will tighten up the anti-roll. So the anti-roll, when I put it in, this and that, it's showing like a 3/8 difference from side to side. I think the side's up a little more than that side, or that side is. I think that side is. But the quarters, you can see how that one bumps out, that one. All my other measurements are coming out, so the quarter could just be off a little bit, but the car sits good. I'm happy. All right, let me get it back up. Tighten everything. Tighten the upper jam nuts on the upper control arms. Tighten up the lower jam nuts on the lower control arms. And tighten up the anti-roll links, the jam nuts that are on those. And then paint the bracing that I just did. So yeah, that's where we're at. The Malibu is basically ready. So I'm gonna call the customer and let him know. Oh, I'm gonna put some grease in the anti-roll because if you listen, I didn't put any type of grease in the anti-roll. Normally when I put them together, I put NICs in there, but undermounts don't have a Zerk fitting. You gotta pack it with grease or pack it with NICs. This one is overmount, so I have to put grease in it. It's got Zerk fittings on it. And they were 100% dry because the ends would just fall off.
And it's got that brass or whatever insert in there. I think it's brass. All right, I'll do that, paint that, and it's obviously gonna be dark in probably the next 20 minutes. So tomorrow I'll get the footage of it outside and obviously dude come get it. So there we are. I'll paint that stuff, tighten it up, and it'll almost be done. Bet it up, be right back. This thing does have a LS in it. Got a nice dash. It's got the red lights for you hoes. Oh, for the hoes. You know what I'm saying? For the hoes. I thought I just had the pimps on. Oh yeah, it does have halos. Oh yeah, this is the pimp. Some halos. But yeah. I'll do another final video of it tomorrow. But I'm about to call dude. Like I said, he's ready. We got his trailer in the driveway too, so he's gonna come get it. Oh, I got that lower arm on a hell of an angle, huh? Oh no, that's the bottom. That's the bracing on the rear end, right down there. This one has lower than the other one, but yeah, it went down that inch. The frame notch was better in the back, and like I said, with being able to adjust those uppers just a little bit shorter, then I can reset all that. Alright, y'all. Till tomorrow in the daylight for y'all to see it. Better. Be right back. Maybe we'll do some old shots tomorrow. Alright, you guys. One more step. So, he asked for some tow hooks. I already had the car backed up right here, ready for tomorrow to leave. So I had to re-rack it, and you can see that's how it's still smoking. So anyways, tow hook. But look, I always go underneath, right? And then I'm able to weld like that. Put them on a little bit of angle backwards, because when you tie the car down, you know, it's pulling back. You don't want it to be straight up and it's pulling down. But anyways, what I'm saying is, now look how much is under. Don't look at my nasty welds. And then, not too bad, but I beveled the edge right there, and then I welded it. So now you can see how much more strength that it has to there, instead of, I've seen people weld them directly to the back of the brace. I go underneath, and there. Same thing with this side. Booyah. I just don't have any more paint. This weld's a little bit smaller than this weld, but it don't matter. It's penetrating. Penetration. That's what she said. But anyways, I'm pretty sure we have him on. He's got a white car too, the white 81. I'm pretty sure we have him on that one, because I built that rear end after this rear end. And this is the one that, like I said, with bending the brace, I was under, because I didn't go behind the back of the pumpkin right here, which I was like, you know. So if I was back more, I'd have been up more, and that would have saved the sides would have been up more. He says he don't mind. I don't mind either. I try to show. So yeah, see the grease? See that? There's grease. There's grease in there, brah. So yeah, I took away the squeak. Oh, I left the yellow line on there. Uh-oh. Why'd I do that? So then the angle, let me see if I can do this real fast. Keep that light on me so I can put it back on charge. Grab this little one. This is what I used. And let's just see the front to back. Damn it. Okay. roughly says 1060, right? Rough number. Let's go to this side. Put it about the same area. 980. Depending on if you twist it. Go with the edge. Go with the edge. So let's see. I went a little bit there. Let's go directly with the edge. 1125. That's why they're so short, they're touchy. But you see how I'm damn near with the edge? Okay. I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect. Oh, my finger just touched that. Oh, that's pretty hot. Okay, it's basically with that a little bit, whatever. Now that I'm saying 1205. 12. And this one was saying what, 1180? I can't get it to stick right, and it's got so much shit on here, and it's hot. Whatever. They're only toe hooks. I don't have to be perfect. I mean, what exactly is it? Ooh, this thing's hot now. Hot as hell. You're like, yeah, duh, it was just smoking, dumbass. Hey, Clint. Earl Bob. Are you watching this, Earl Bob? See what I did there? It's hot. I just welded that. Everybody say hi to Earl Bob. Earl Bob. Alright, so he's definitely coming tomorrow. Today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. Obviously, Saturday comes after Friday, and he'll be here about noon. Hook up his trailer, and if he wants to test drive, he can test drive it. I don't care, whatever. And he said, yeah, most likely it's out of gas. And that's why it's idling up and idling down, which is fuel injected, however that shit works. I don't fuck with it. But alright, y'all, I will get a video outside during the day tomorrow. Bet that up. Alright, y'all, there it is. Sitting good. Told you I'd get that daylight video. If I don't trip over shit. But yeah. It's good. Ready to roll. It's so ready to roll that it's about to go right on the trailer. Yeah, bet that up. Last shot. Put the toe hooks on there. So yeah. 79 Malibu, 24-inch Ruchis.